Ah, 4th of July. Juneteenth is where it's at these days, but my friends and family won't turn down a day off to grill and chill. My boy, Chef Nas, he's always going to be cooking up the hits. And with my new learned craft and love of cocktail making, I can guarantee we'll be drinking in style. That's me, not catching the hat. You'll see.
To the game, no one replace. Me got me girls all around me, no chaser. Yeah, star boy.
Fast forward, an opportunity presents itself. I'd be making cocktails for a friend and her guests along the Seine River in Paris. So I grabbed the flight, and before the flight, I grabbed myself a Bloody Mary and found myself in Paris a short time later. C'est première fois à Paris, which means it was my first time in Paris. I wasn't going to come unprepared. I met a family from the Montmartre section of Paris who took me in and spared no time giving me a true taste of Paris. That's the Sacré Church. Beautiful. I got to meet who's become my uncle, the stylish, the music savvy, and the world's best driver, my uncle Hichem from Algeria, but just a Paris native now. And his lovely and beautiful and elegant wife, Mimi. She's a pastry chef and amazing at it.
Hichem, where are we?
We are in Montmartre with my friend, he come from
New York, from Brooklyn.
New York, Brooklyn. We eat cuisine traditional, French cuisine traditional.
Hey!
Best food in the world. Believe me.
After dinner, Hichem gave a small walking tour. The Sacred Heart Church at night is an entire vibe. People get to hang out, sit on the stairs, drink, smoke, and just vibe out. Now, if church was more like that where I was from, I think you'd see me there every Sunday. Paris from here looked like 1,000 slow-burning matches. Uncle Hichem, he walked through the city like he was the mayor, first and foremost, and he drove like he was the transporter. All jokes aside, he was an impeccable driver, and the drive alone was enlightening, fulfilling. He took us to see everything. We even stopped in the tunnel to see where Princess Diana passed away. Paris at night is something that everyone needs to see. The Louvre, that looks like fine china. You know the ones in your cupboard you never get to use? And then the Eiffel Tower up close. It just reeks of romance and power and steel and industry and innovation. My mouth was on the floor. The next day, we meet up with Corey, the person that brought me here.
I say, what's Gucci? Welcome to Paris. Exciting place I really like. Lots of really nice, healthy, natural options.
Yes.
It's just fresh and cold. And the thing is, when they come, they look very small. But then when you're done eating, you're like, wait a minute, actually, I'm full. Yeah. So it's really cool.
Like Hichem and Mimi, I met Corey while working at the bar. See where my talents are taking me? Now when she offered and said, yo, come up to France for their Bastille Day, I said I had to be here. She has been in Paris for well over a decade and knows in and out like the back of her hand. Thrifting, art, personalities, food, restaurant, whatever you need, she can connect you to it and has a network of people that goes deep. The afternoon was spent learning all kinds of things about the city and looking at their graphic art and things like that. I definitely was able to feed my need for culture. Thank you, Corey. Yeah, right? I didn't think it was going to wake me up from the fog like that, but yeah, this is helping. This is giving me at least another hour and a half of life. There was no coffee that could beat my jet lag. After a nice little siesta, woke up and walked around the neighborhood. Cafe culture in Paris is amazing. To be able to people watch, eat, drink, smoke, and just revel throughout the night, why not? Plus, it helped me get back to sleep because I had a big day. I was going to be visiting a king's house. This is a map of Versailles. This is one family's home, and it's roughly that big. And the average New York apartment is roughly 975 square feet. Did the math, it's 700 New York City apartments. What? Room after room after room. No expense was spared for the details that they put into this house. They hired only the best, and these families built their names on making sure that these kings, queens, and nobility had everything that they needed. It was almost like a cult the way they worshiped the family, and they made sure that this family was under their eye, whether it was public games or even a public birth. You were under the eye like a Kardashian, but you lived amazing. After an afternoon with the nobility, it was time to be with the common man on the French train. Kind of stinky, but very fast, because it was time to get some cocktails. Combat Bar in Belleville, really, really good. That drink there is the elote. It's topped with chicory, and they use a simple syrup made with corn. One thing I like about seeing other bartenders are their different shake styles. Everyone does what works best for their bodies, and yeah. It's always curious. It's a little interesting thing for me. This is the Combat Margarita. If you're in Belleville, make sure you go and you get yourself some. It was so refreshing, so good. Just the right amount of tartness, but with its own French twist. I'm here in Belleville, France, and it's an amazing neighborhood. Tons of art, tons of great culture, tons of great bars. It's one of the coolest places you could be here. I guarantee you should come here. It's only second to Montmartre. Maybe it's first. But the point I'm making is, look, right here, we're hanging out with probably the most lit delta in all of France. I don't know any other deltas, but I would definitely give it that. I myself am an alpha. If you're familiar with the fraternities, you should do your Googles. But right now, she's peeling.
But you can't take the smile away.
Hey. Only she could say it. Come right here. Hey, you recognize his face?
What's up, y'all? I live on the streets, all the way at the top. You don't have to zoom in because you can't see it, but I live on the streets. Yeah, it's a special neighborhood for artists, for people who want to grow, for people who really just want to experience a different part of Paris. And I get to live here, and I get to be with avec mon ami, mon best ami, and
ooh, your French is getting good.
Elle amie.
Toute façon.
Ouais, exactement.
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 Yeah,
He
carrément.
gets it.
Yeah.
Carrément. And n'est-ce pas? Nous sommes ici maintenant. And, je suis ici aussi.
Vraiment.
Donc, c'est tout.
So yes, that's his here, Fire and Ice, here in Paris, in Belleville, and yeah, you gotta come here sometime. Le Sacré-Cœur, the Sacred Heart Church, that big beautiful church that I'm seeing from the windows of my Airbnb. I had to go inside and visit because I only was able to go on the stairs and hang out like I was on a stoop in Brooklyn. So I went in to take a look and see what it had, and lo and behold, in typical church fashion, big statues, big murals, lots of pews. But yeah, to be able to then go outside and see Paris in the daytime, the views, where it was 1,000 matchsticks before, now it was La Ville Paris, the city. Daytime energy, just a sight. Had no words, and I'm a poet. So that means a lot more than when I can come up with all kinds of stuff. And the cleanliness, the French party, but then they put their garbage away. I think there's a couple cities that can take note. Cough, cough, Brooklyn. But it was a sight. Something to do to wind down, because then we had to prepare for Bastille Day. So who's ready to learn how to make a drink? Catch us in part 2.